Hello everyone, Buzz here from Buzzin' Around the World, and welcome to Hakone, Japan. I visited Japan twice, once in the summer of 2018, and once again in the spring of 2025, and both times one of my top goals was to see Mount Fuji from Hakone. You know the view, the perfect shot of the mountain rising behind Lake Ashi, maybe with a pirate ship in the foreground. Well, despite all my planning, nature had other ideas. Thunderstorms blocked the view the first time, and smoke from wildfires clouded it the second. But on the second trip, I did catch a glimpse, just barely. Along the way, I learned a lot about how to make the most of Hakone, even when Mount Fuji isn't visible. So if you're wondering what to do when the weather doesn't cooperate, or you're planning your own trip to Hakone, this video is for you. In 2018, I decided to take a day trip from Tokyo to the Hakone area. I arrived around 9 a.m., and right away I knew things weren't looking good. A heavy thunderstorm had settled in. Both the Hakone Tozan cable car and the Hakone Ropeway had suspended service. Still hopeful, I took the Hakone Tozan Railway up to Gora Station and waited for hours, thinking maybe service would resume. But it didn't. I also didn't know about bus options at the time, so I simply retraced my steps and headed back to Tokyo. Even if I had reached Lake Ashi, the pirate ships weren't operating that day either. With dark storm clouds hanging over the region, Mount Fuji would have been completely hidden regardless. For my second trip, I wanted to give myself a better chance, so I planned a 2-night stay in Hakone during March of 2025. This time, I arrived straight from Narita Airport and used the Hakone Free Pass, which is honestly the best way to get around the area. I paid a little extra for the Limited Express Romance car, which requires a seat reservation and has a 1,200 yen surcharge. Tickets are easy to get at Shinjuku Station from a vending machine or an agent. The Romance car shaved about 40 minutes off the travel time and dropped me off at Hakone Yamato Station. My hotel, the Yamato Station Hotel Mira Hakone, was just steps away. It's a small, no-thrills place, perfect for solo travelers like me. If you're after relaxation, you'll definitely want to look into one of Hakone's famous onsen resorts. That afternoon, I decided to make a trial run using the Hakone Free Pass, which covers nearly all forms of transport in the area. I took the Hakone Tozan Railway up to Gora Station, a beautiful 40-minute ride through switchbacks and forested hills. All of these stations have Japanese names, and I know despite my best efforts, I'm probably not going to pronounce them correctly. From Gora, I boarded the Hakone Tozan cable car, which climbed steadily up to Sonzan Station. Then I transferred to the Hakone Ropeway, which runs from Sonzen to Togendai. Along the way, the ropeway stops at Ōwakudani and Ubaku stations. Everyone has to change cars at Ōwakudani, where you can walk around and see some amazing geothermal activity. That day, I only had time to get to Ōwakudani before the ropeway closed at 4:45 p.m. Still, I loved the eerie volcanic views and was hopeful that the next morning would bring clearer skies. Unfortunately, the next morning brought more disruption. The ropeway was closed again, this time due to high winds. Thankfully, I discovered there were bus options connecting the ropeway stations. The Aizu Hakone bus doesn't accept the Hakone Free Pass, but since I had Suica set up on my phone, I could just tap and ride. I took the bus all the way to Togendai Station, where the iconic pirate ships depart across Lake Ashi. The Hakone Free Pass includes a second-class pirate ship ticket, but I highly recommend upgrading to first class. You'll get so much more space, a front seat, and better views. The ships weren't running their full route that day due to winds, but they were still stopping at Hakone Machi, which was enough for me. And here's the moment I've been waiting for, when Mount Fuji finally came into view. Faint and slightly obstructed by smoke, but still visible. After years of planning and hoping, it was surreal to finally see the mountain in person, even if it wasn't that iconic crystal clear shot that I'd been hoping for. After disembarking, I walked around the shoreline, snapping some additional photos of Mount Fuji. I then made my way to Onshi-Hakone Park. At first, I could see Mount Fuji in the background of the garden views, but as I continued exploring, the wind shifted and the smoke rolled in. By the time I reached the exit, Fuji had completely disappeared. After leaving the park, I walked over to Motohakone and spent time at the Hakone Shrine, one of the most peaceful spots in the area. Even without Fuji in the background, the torii of peace standing in the lake was beautiful. I recommend spending at least an hour wandering through the forested paths and along the shoreline. By early afternoon, the wind had settled and the ropeway had reopened. I took the pirate ship back to Togendai as the pirate ships were now running their full routes. I upgraded to first class again, but this time Fuji was completely gone, hidden in the thick smoke. The ropeway from Togendai to Ōwakudani should have had some of the best views of Mount Fuji, but all I saw was gray. Still, the ride was peaceful, and I retraced my journey back to Hakone Yamato Station. On the final morning, I checked out of my hotel and looked up the forecast, hoping for one last chance. Fuji was hidden, so I boarded the romance car back to Shinjuku. But I did get one last surprise. Cherry blossoms had just started blooming at Shinjuku Goyen. It was a perfect way to wrap up the trip. So can you see Mount Fuji from Hakone? Yes, but not always. Between weather and wildfire smoke, visibility can change fast. But even without perfect views, Hakone is worth the trip. It's scenic, relaxing, and filled with unique transportation and natural beauty. If you're planning your own visit, check forecasts, stay flexible, and enjoy all that Hakone has to offer. And if you found this video helpful, please smash that like button, subscribe, and check the link below for my full blog post with even more tips. From Buzzin' Around the World, this is Buzz, wishing you happy travels.